What's going on, Blue Nation? Another back here for another nightly show. Oh, hold on, we got Rando now too.
Nice.
How are we doing?
What's up?
It's
It's been a day.
No video for Brando. That's
No
all right.
video?
We can hear you though. Nah.
haven't Rando's here. He's all the way here. How we been doing today? How we been doing keeping up with the football news and everything going on? Anybody get to watch a bowl game?
Nah, I did not. Western Kentucky's playing, right?
Yeah, I watched the first half. Wibberly, I didn't see a play where he wasn't the best player on the field. Him
Yeah.
and Veltkamp obviously stand out on Western Kentucky's team.
Yeah,
Um,
he's visiting this weekend, so that's a
I think he's
big recruit coming in.
supposed to be here tomorrow, like right after the bowl game.
Yeah.
Something like
So
that. Like, I mean,
yeah,
2 weeks.
19th and
Right?
20th, yeah. So I know that'll be a big one. We've talked to him a few times. He's said he'll join the show down the road, and so if that's the case, I feel like pretty confident that he feels good about Kentucky. So hopefully that happens. That'll definitely shore up the offensive line. I mean, that pretty much gives everything we need.
You're just sitting there with needing a left tackle. Rando, how you doing?
Good, man. I mean, the news of the day for me was that D lineman from Georgia. I just saw the
Jamal
post.
Jarrett.
Jamal Jarrett. Yeah, thank you. I was blanking on his name. You saw me like the gears were turning. I couldn't get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's Georgia is never hard pressed for talent, right? So to have someone from them come over and shore up the defense, similar, like I posted out there, Pop came over and he was the anchor of our defense. So any more Georgia players that want to come our way, I'm happy to take, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. Jamal Jarrett, think it was honestly probably a little bit of a getting recruited over kind of situation. I mean, he's 6'5", 350 pounds at defensive line. I had seen somewhere that he had 4 sacks, but that doesn't appear to be the case. So I guess that's a mute point. But yeah, he played sparingly, more of a rotational guy at Georgia. I mean, got recruited over as a top 100 recruit, which only happens at 3 or 4 places in the entire country. But
Yeah.
we need size, and they need run stopping. And 6'6", 350 sounds like size and run stopping to me.
I
He'll fill a
would say
hole
so.
for sure.
3 or 4 of them.
It's a well-needed spot. We, like you said, we got to have somebody there. Losing Silver was a huge blow that we didn't expect. So filling someone in like him is a big get, and so hopefully we can get him on campus and talk about his role in our team. We've had great success bringing other Georgia folks. We got 2 recruits from Georgia last year, so hopefully we're able to get another one this year. And yeah, I'm excited to see it. And I know you were kind of mentioning we also, got a commitment today, so that was exciting. That kind of came out of nowhere as well.
Yeah, Wallace Unamba out of New Mexico. He started his career at Kilgore, where Lane Johnson's from. Same or both tackles from Kilgore. If you want to make a parallel there, but he's not Lane Johnson, by the way. But anyway, spent
No,
3 years there.
he's a little darker. Josh is a little more pale.
Couple
I hope he's
generations
as
away.
good as Lane Johnson.
A white version. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
Better.
but
Let's hope he's better.
yeah, I spent 3 years at Kilgore, 2-time All Conference, 2-time All American. Transferred to FAU with Tom Herman. Didn't really play, redshirted. Transferred to New Mexico and didn't allow a sack, 10 pressures, and 364 pass snaps. Like, this is a highly productive pass blocker, who also does just mauling people in the run game.
Yeah. I mean, you look at who we've gotten so far, you don't see many sacks allowed on these guys. Like, we finally will have the pass protection that we need. Hopefully, within the next week or so, we shore up the quarterback. I know it may not be a guy that everybody wants. What's that?
Any moment now, if that wants to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I'm still not fully sold, but when you see the offensive line that we have, that helps me a little bit.
Yeah,
for sure.
If y'all have opinions on the on some of the transfer they're getting, Wallace Unamba, the quarterback's position, give us a shout in the comment section. We want to know what y'all think about potentially Calzada being added. I just wanted to add one more thing about Unamba. The NCAA, or there was a court case today, Matt was tweeting about, that allows JUCO play where JUCO years won't count against your eligibility.
That's
So
wild.
he played 3 JUCO years, redshirted his first year. He's technically a redshirt freshman in his 5th year of college football.
That
Yeah,
is
I mean, I
crazy.
like that. I
Ridiculous.
like that rule. But it is starting to get a little ridiculous. Like Pavia, didn't he get another year this year? It's
That was,
like
yeah, just like random.
I mean, as long as they're willing to pay you, you can play college ball now.
Yeah, they need a
I
law.
mean, hell, yeah, depending on what our wide receiver market looks like, I'd probably go play for EKU right now. Maybe I don't know if I can make Kentucky, but I think I could be a Colonel, go back home.
You
If they'll
could do
let me
that.
play.
I feel like I could line up at tight end. Me and CJ will. He could. I feel like he could fix me up.
So
Well,
kind of firing off. How do we feel about Dangle going to South Carolina?
oh, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
It's weird because it's like last year
I was a
Cummings went
big
to
Dangle
Louisville,
fan.
which we hate, and then this year Dingo goes to South Carolina, who we hate. It's like lots of all these tight ends go to our rivals. It's crazy.
yeah, and Dingle tried to go to Tennessee last year before we saved him.
Yeah,
So like, Dingle just wanted to play in the SEC. He was
yeah,
getting the SEC bag. I mean, he was always a better prospect than he ended up being player. He'll probably have a good year at South Carolina, if I had to imagine. Like if someone's taking a flyer on a guy that had such little production, then it makes you like they see the vision, right? It's kind of like us with Kendrick Law. Not a ton of production, only 300 yards in 3 years. But like you can see exactly how Kendrick Law fits when you like
yeah.
on tape and kind of how he would fit into the offense. Um, we
And
should
he's on
probably
campus
start.
right now, right?
I think Kendrick Law is on campus. Yeah. What would y'all think about getting Kendrick Law? And I know Rando, you're a receiver guy, and you have a little man crush on one of the ACC guys. So
Yeah, man. Horatio, I think that's the missing piece. 6'3", over, you know, I appreciate height and size, but
Mhm.
some of these guys who are tall and also like under, yeah, I want one that's tall and over the 200-pound club, right? Like big,
Mhm.
thick, can go get it, athletic, and he just fits the mold. I watched his tape. He can go up and get a high point the football, catches with his hands consistently, which I really like. Doesn't there's a lot of good. I mean, like Randy Moss was a guy who could body catch real well. Like, so it didn't have to do it, but I like to
Yeah,
see someone go use strong hands
it's
and just tag
easier to
balls
be
in hands.
consistent if you do hand catching.
Yeah, and it also just like it's it makes it harder for the defensive back. I'm going and attacking the
Mhm.
ball with my hands. It's less time travel to your body. So those sort of things. If you're consistently doing that, and you also, I think it's a confidence thing too. But without getting on a
Mhm.
tangent, I just think he's got not a full route tree, but a pretty damn good route tree when it comes into it. And if you look at our wide receiver group right now, um, that we don't have a body type a type model series like him, right? So he's kind of like that missing piece that I want to come in. But we'll see. I mean, you tell me Law is coming, like I'm not gonna be disappointed. From me, he's crazy talented. So I kind of you look at the body types and you kind of how does it fit now? I mean, we'll see.
Well, I
Yeah,
think there's a world where we can get them both potentially. I mean,
I think they want them
um,
both.
yeah. So I know
Yeah,
Law's there, and then Fields is. I don't know when he's going to be on campus. Supposedly this weekend, potentially. Um, I know Fields is also. I think he visited Auburn, so we'll see if he gets out of there.
They
Um,
are throwing bags at people.
oh, I
They are
know.
throwing
Yeah,
all the money at everybody. Your boy Eric
yeah,
Singleton ran though. He's got a couple Auburn predictions today.
yeah.
He's
That's
a
why I'm
second
worried
year.
about him getting out of there.
hey, Fields liked my tweet, so you better not be teasing me, man. You hit the heart button. I'm thinking
Ahmad
you're coming.
Hardy.
So
Ahmad Hardy just texted me or replied to my tweet that he was visiting Kentucky, and he freaking commits to Missouri today.
damn.
I know, isn't that crazy?
I know. I was so mad.
Um, I tell you
I
what, I mean,
wasn't
obviously, I
mad.
think that shows Hardy's visit was already scheduled. So for him to land at Missouri, either
You
he
think
got the
that
sense
is a
that we,
Dowdell
Yeah,
Coach
that's what I'm
Kentucky?
saying. He
Yeah.
either got the sense that we were kind of focused more on that guy or something. I just don't feel like a recruit would set up a visit if they truly weren't interested in coming to Kentucky.
I would imagine he got to Missouri and heard some things that he didn't want to let go when if he were to leave Missouri.
Yeah.
If I,
I
I
mean,
mean, I
Missouri's
know
also
nothing.
they're killing it on recruiting right now.
Oh yeah,
Missouri is. They also had a
they're
really
also
successful season compared to us, so
they're
that
also
helps.
losing a lot though. With
Yeah,
they
yeah,
did that law where it said you can do NIL in high school if you go to a school that's in the state of Missouri. So
yeah,
everyone went to Missouri for their freshman year, got their bag through high school in their first year at Missouri, and entered the transfer portal. So they had
yeah,
this massive recruiting class last year. Like the number one edge in the country committed to them. Like all this
yeah.
different stuff. They all left.
I
Hmm.
know.
Hey, so I
Texas
haven't.
A&M.
I just saw the tweet from Lynn Bowden, the receiver that's in the transporter from USC. I haven't. I just saw it, retweeted it. Was like, hey, if Bowden endorses it, then I'm all about it. But I have know nothing about this guy, to be honest. Have you looked at him at
He
all, or
can fly.
it's okay.
Absolutely, absolutely fly. Yeah, Zachariah Branch is like it's Berrien speed. He can move it. Now it's similar Berrien where it's harder for him to get in and out of breaks. It's hard for he's not the biggest receiver, but like Kendrick Law is he can fly. It's a gadget guy. You get him in motion, he'll have a lot of space to run crossers and streaks and get out away from people. Um, Branch would do the same thing, but he entered with a no contact clause, and I can't imagine he had Kentucky
Yeah.
on his list in the no
Oh,
contact. So
Don't you
uh,
feel like that Gilmore though's the same type of player that can just? I mean, he's shown me enough where I don't know if we need another guy like. I mean, I'd love to have him. If Lynn Bowden's endorsing the guy, obviously I would like to have him. But I feel like Gilmore showed more than once last year that he can be that deep threat. Law can be, in the slot. Macklin, I think, can win one-on-one matchups. I mean, he's one of the best route runners we've seen this year, and he just didn't get the opportunities. And then we get somebody like Fields, and then we're able to run four wide at times. And then if we got their Nebraska running back, I mean, that's a whole lot of offense. And then you got the quarterback that threw for almost 4,000 yards and ran for 400. So I mean, it could be an exciting offense. Um,
Rando to me, bringing in Law or going after him tells me they might want to move Macklin back to the outside where he played at North Texas. He played
yeah,
80% of his snaps outside at North Texas, and he played like 70% of his snaps in
yeah,
the slot this year at Kentucky. So moving him outside could maybe get him going more as a deep threat, like we saw at North Texas.
yeah. I mean, you saw it when he had to fill that X role when Key got hurt. He did just fine. And I talk about his size, and I don't. Um, but he's still one. He can go track a ball, and he can go up and get one too. Like he's a deep threat who can. I mean, there wasn't a catch from the very start of the season against. Damn, what was the rainout game?
Southern Miss.
So yeah, I mean that he made an incredible play there
Mhm.
against Louisville. He's made highlight catches all year. He can go up and get one too. Um, but yeah, it's interesting. I do think if we don't land one of these big guys, that potentially you're looking at one of the stud athlete tight ends filling that role because you don't really need a wide receiver per se, big body, just a pass catcher, right? Give me loose comparison, but give me an Isaiah Likely type player that we can play with. So Willie Rodriguez, these guys, maybe they fill that role. So won't be super disappointed if we don't land one of those guys, but then you just got to hope we see more tight end play play calling from Bush Hamden to use those big bodies because what they do in the red zone for you is massive, right? And all we had last year was Key, and we didn't give him too many of those options. It was trying to get in the run game, and maybe Dowdell, if he comes in, can fix that. Um, but the reason why the run game on the goal line didn't work is because there's no threat of the pass, right? So we have to have that, or I like to have it.
Yeah. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure. And Willie Rodriguez could honestly do that too because he's not much of a blocker at all. Getting him out wide, maybe using him that way. And then the freshman Miller, DJ Miller, that they got at the end, he's a
yeah,
6'3" guy. Obviously, you don't want to you don't want to put everything on a 3-star freshman. But if you're going to go after size, speed, catch radius, that's a
yeah.
freshman on the
We got,
roster that at least has the measurables. Jason, that's my dad. He says, "Love hate this time of year, loving all the new players, but hate having to wait to see them play." Yeah,
It's
I
true.
agree.
Yeah.
I want to see it all come together.
Yeah, so
But
someone, I think it was, oh man, I'm gonna jack up his Twitter name. I don't know him. Berkeley Pops or Pops Berkeley or
Yeah, yeah, I
whatever
know
he
you're
goes.
talking about. Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so he
yeah,
he put out a tweet out there. He was like, "Hey, y'all remember when we overreacted about Pope, and that turned out pretty. Maybe we should just chill about our quarterback situation." I was like, "All right, you got me. I'll pump the brakes a
yeah.
little bit. I'll stop being, so at least let's give him a shot." I do, without inciting riot here, if that's the guy after the year that we had this year, I am interested. They must be confident because I mean they were essentially all chips in, right? Bush, Hamden, Stoops are going all chips in on this quarterback to be our savior, to at least get us to a bowl game and salvage what we got going on here, so we don't have another offseason of you know or chance in the stadium about Summerall, right? So it's like
Mhm.
the fact that they're going in on this guy, they are confident, I would think, and they better be right. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree with that statement, but that's how I feel about it.
oh,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. This is
Go
this is
ahead, Jake.
testing this is testing Bush's evaluation process. Like it's, I mean, even year two with Bush, like it's not. I wouldn't say he's safe if things were to go poorly again, and he actually gets to pick his quarterback and pick his linemen and pick his like if he gets to pick all the things this time, which was the main thing that we heard is he didn't get to pick his players, and it doesn't work. Like he's gone, and then the pressure on Stoops at that point is immense, and whether they can do anything about it or not, probably not. But
I
yeah,
know.
what are your thoughts
Yeah,
on
but yeah, it's gonna
Calzada?
be there.
Yes. So Jake asked about anything on Kendrick Lawson. We just kind of covered it. So he's on campus right now. I think he's one of our top targets. After the show, you can go back and kind of listen to what we said about it. So I would agree. I mean, obviously, if you're bringing this guy that a lot of his fans probably don't agree with because of Malik Murphy and then other names that were out there, um, yeah, he has to work out. I know that there still would be a buyout next year, but I think there would be a lot of pressure if we don't have a successful season this year. We have to at least go 7-5 and go to a bowl game for me to even be okay with keeping this full staff into the next year after that. But I don't want to think negative. I don't want to think long term. I want to think about like what we have going on right now. I want to think about the recruits we've already got committed to us. Obviously, we got two really good defensive pieces so far. We got three offensive linemen, hopefully a fourth this weekend. Now we just need some of those offensive skill points, such as the running back, a couple wide receivers. I think we'll get another tight end. Hopefully the quarterback gets addressed. But I don't even think we're close to being done. I mean, obviously we have the defensive tackle from Georgia that we talked about, a cornerback potentially, maybe another linebacker,
Yeah,
and some. So
they got a couple visitors on defense. The Wyoming defensive tackle, he was a rotational guy, but he was pretty decent in pass rush. Like you could see the rotational like third down pass rush kind of thing. Jake says the more I watch Calzada highlights, the more I'm in on him. Yeah, I mean you
yeah,
see it, like you see the talent, like it's obvious that he's talented, and then you see the decision making is improving as every year when and at Incarnate Word, decision making's pretty good. Only 2.3%
yeah.
turnover worthy plays. Now he's playing air raid, throwing a bunch of short passes, but um, he's
His
statistically he's
quarterback rating is
improving.
pretty nice. So
Mhm.
you don't get a 141 quarterback rating if you're not very good. Um, so the next comment's pretty funny. Um,
Nathaniel asked if I think that Stoops lied about being confident in their NIL. Um, no,
our
they like
NIL, nice.
you don't get Joshua Braun, Alex Wolfschlager. Um, like you don't get a Calzada, like a quarterback. You don't get those kind of guys without having money, and they're
Exactly.
still, and they've used up a bunch. They've gotten a bunch of high level players, and they're still going after high level players, which tells me they still have more money to play with.
Yeah. Like Wimberly, when he announced to go into the portal, I mean, he's one of the top centers in the portal. And right away, we
On 3 has
were
him
one of
listed
the
at
top.
tackle.
What's that?
If you're trying to find him on 3, he's listed at tackle on there. For
Oh,
anyone who may be confused with me, who like I was earlier today.
He will play center for us, though.
like we said,
Yes.
like we said in the spaces last night, until there's a salary cap, there's no like too high of a price on these guys, right? So top whoever in the transfer portal comes in at position, you know, I think there's going to be a conversation that has to be had internally with the player of like, what do I want? Am I chasing a bag? Am I chasing good money on a decent team, or am I going to take a shot at less money but on a national contender that where people are going to see me more? Like those are the kind of rationale they have to put through. And yeah, Kentucky had a bad season last year, but it's still a team in the SEC. They're still going to have a bunch of top nationally televised SEC network, ESPN games. It's not like you're going to a team that's just going to be on ESPN Plus. And you got the money to back that up. So I think we're living in that middle space right there, like good money, decent team type thing. Who knows? But there was a post
Yeah.
there was a post NIL football money, and the estimation, I think we were at just over 11 million. That was for 2024. I don't know how accurate that is, but it was out there. Oh,
Whoa.
Everybody got
That's pretty good.
way big all of a sudden when we added the man Paul
yeah.
in there.
It scared me. Threw me off.
Oh
Hello.
man, what are we doing? Oh,
That better? Oh shit.
There we go. Well,
you have
that's all
control
right.
of this
Hang on.
thing now.
There you go.
Good, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
That better?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. I'll sit up a little bit.
Hi,
No, I would
fellas.
agree. Hey, man.
Sorry I'm late.
All good. We've been talking about some of our football commitments and visitors that we have coming down the road, and
Don't know
kind
if
of
you
talking about-
saw Drummond posted that we think he Hester from Oklahoma committed.
Oh wow, I did not
So,
see that.
That would
be
be
a new one. I
interesting.
didn't say it was confirmed. He said he'd heard. I mean, I haven't heard anything about it. I know that he was there, but yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I did not see that, but yeah, I mean that. It
Well,
seems like we're
there's
on
your
a roll
extra
right
team.
now. So we
So
keep it up.
If you were
anyway, what have we
you're
talked? We
looking for that
talked
ex-
about any of the other shit, or just plowing through?
No.
Just plowing through. Okay, that's fine. We'll just plow through.
Yeah.
we've pretty much just been going down the list position by position, getting through all the kind of the targets and
Yeah, look,
visitors and
it's exciting right now. The team I think is doing well in the recruiting portal. I think Stoops has quieted a few people. You guys have known better for worse. I've never talked shit about the guy. I've always said he deserves a chance, to the detriment of my own personal, just my own personal anything, whatever you want to call it. He's the greatest coach that we've ever had at Kentucky, and I think it's something that we have. We have a really good shot at turning around. I like the team. I think there's a bunch of dogs on the team. I think there's a lot of talent. I heard someone say Calzada's got a chip on his shoulder, works hard. That's great for Cutter. That's great for Stone Saunders, right? It's great from that perspective of what a guy like that can bring to the table. I kind of like it more, right? If Murphy, look, Murphy, maybe Murphy has an ego. I know some people have said that. We've talked to some other, media folks, and they've said maybe that was a worry that maybe Murphy had an ego. I'm not saying he's a bad kid, right? And quarterbacks have egos, but there's a difference between having an ego and then having, one where there's a coachability, and he's still young, right? Like at the end of the day, he's still a younger quarterback coming in. Calzada's been around for a long time. So I think it's a really good, interesting dynamic. And Hester's a big guy, high 4-star. If he does commit, that's really Rando said his feed was
He's back. It looks like.
all right, there you go. He said his feed was bad. But,
Yeah, my stuff keeps freezing up, so if I drop out, my bad. But it's I'm just losing
Hester,
service for some reason.
oh, you're good. Hester said, it was a high 4-star. He had some injuries, good speed, good size, really good size, 6'4" kid. We needed somebody like that, really like that. If that's the case, I think that there's a lot of potential there from that perspective. And look, like you've seen this too, right? Like there's a lot of times where guys, if they get injured or something like that, maybe they're not as highly recruited some places, but they were, athletes out of high school. They come somewhere and they get a chance and they show out. And I like the fact that they're looking at guys who have something to prove, who have talent, or have played a lot of football. Maybe there's some SEC pedigree in there with some of these guys. And I think that it's been a pretty solid portal for that, so far. So, I'm excited. Obviously, it looks like things are going well with Dowdell as well, the running back. I don't know if you talked about that kind of yet, but obviously he's coming in for a visit. Think that's a really good move. Kentucky has a thunder and lightning 1-2 punch in the running back position. And I think it's something that we have, I definitely think the offense is already improved. I think this team's improved already. And I think that there's a lot of way to go still.
Yeah.
And a lot of way to go in the aspect there's a lot of guys and positions I still think will fill.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I mean, you kind of hit on Murphy. And, for me, it makes sense that we kind of, maybe the attitude thing, like you had mentioned, potentially. But I think the money factor, too, like, why would you invest so much on that side of it if you could spread that out within the offensive line? We've already kind of pinpointed, we've already got 3 commitments on the offensive line. If Hester ends up committing, I think that probably does say that we won't get Fields, although Rando loves him. I know Law, he was supposed to be on campus today. I'm going to assume he's still there. But I would say if Hester comes, Fields more likely ends up at Auburn. So more to come on that piece. But, yeah, it's exciting. I mean, we obviously, we get a lot of comments. I like it.
Funny little coincidence. J.J. Hester's best play is a 57-yard bomb when they had to come back against Auburn this year. I was literally watching the play as you were talking about Fields going to Auburn. But Hester's, yeah. It's
Hey, Jen, so
of the
I'm
X
getting punished for
receivers.
doing this thing at work. I'm getting punished for doing this thing at work. I gotta go. I should have just left, but sorry, y'all. I gotta dip for a second, but I'll try to jump on if you guys are still on here in a few minutes.
All right.
Have a go, Rando. Yeah, Hester would be.
Nathaniel said high 4-star 3 years ago. Last year, 300 yards all year with 100 coming against Maine. Yeah, I mean, look, but he's got talent. That's all we'll say, right? Like, there's talent there.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if they're bringing him in, they feel good about him. You said he's 6'4", so I mean that gives us the size on the outside. We'd still have Macklin, we got Gilmore, and then hopefully get Law. That's 4 really good receivers, and I mean that's not even counting Ferrier and some of our younger guys. So I mean, I'm pretty confident in the wide receiver room. Our running back from Nebraska, if we end up getting him, like you said, Wilcox and him would be a 1-2 punch, and it's an exciting offense. We finally would have an offensive line that doesn't give up very many sacks. I mean, if you look at all the stats for these guys, not many pressures coming. So I feel good about that. It doesn't even matter who they play. I mean, don't give up a sack for 3 years. You're talented. Anybody that comes out of the MAC's always a top draft pick, anyways, if you know what you're doing. And so I think the offensive line's great, and then we just need a couple more dudes on the defensive side. So. I feel good about next year.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what y'all think about what they've done so far. I mean, obviously 3 offensive linemen go first team All MAC, All SEC, and then hasn't given up a sack and 2-time JUCO All American. Like they're not coming in, they're not bringing in players that don't have proven production, right? These aren't Gerald Mincey's coming in with like played some snaps in big games kinds of situations. These are guys that have proven to be high level players. To me, Unamba looks like a guard, just the way he moves. I know he played tackle, but if he ends up being a backup swing tackle / backup guard, rotational guard, I mean that would be a quality player. And then, like I said, if JUCO players are getting the year, and that counts for players who are already in college, and he has 3 or 4 years now, that would obviously.
I still can't believe that. I still can't believe they ended up doing that. The JUCO thing. I mean, it's pretty much like, hey, it's like a doctor. You get to play college football for 8 years, just like it takes you to get your degree. I mean, it's wild. I mean, I'm still shocked by the Vanderbilt quarterback getting another year of eligibility, honestly.
Well, they said, I think that the ruling there was that like if you play JUCO, you still keep all of
Yeah.
your eligibility, which is, I mean, that means he can play what, another 2 years, this year and next year. Is that right? Is that, I
Yeah,
think, I don't know how many years he played at
Yeah.
maybe. I
JUCO.
don't know how many years he stayed JUCO, but
I don't
I
either.
mean, that makes me think like the first thing right now I would go to every JUCO player in the country as Seven, the defensive tackle. He's a JUCO guy, right? Or is he FCS?
Oh, Seven World.
Yeah, the DT.
Yeah, that committed to Georgia.
Oh, he committed to Georgia already. Never mind then.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah. He releases a list on like Sunday and then committed on Monday to Georgia.
Well, that's dumb. Bad decision.
Yeah.
Why would you
Seems
do
like
that? Probably like Jamal
everybody's
Jarrett's
liking the.
available.
Yeah. I love
Yeah,
how we
Paul,
are
do you have
rebuilding the
anything?
offensive line. Our quarterback won't have to run for his life anymore. Nice. I agree.
Do you have anything more on Jamal Jarrett, Paul? Just as far as more than he's visiting this week or
Top
anything?
100 player, former top 100 player in the would have been
23.
23 class, I think.
What's he redshirted?
Yeah, I don't think well, he might have redshirted. I don't know. He did play. He played a few snaps last year and the year before. Look, top 100 players don't grow on trees, and they don't walk into the locker room at Kentucky. Too very often out of high school. We get a lot. We do. I mean, I think I like this class a lot that we've brought in. But Georgia has 100 of these guys. It's just disgusting how much talent Georgia hoards. Georgia hoards talent like Cal pre-17 hoarded talent. It's just like the top 10 guys, Georgia's getting 2 or 3 of them, right? And then the top 50, Georgia's getting 7 or 8 of them. It's just the way it is. But there's not enough room for all these guys. And the thing is, too, they get guys that are not only 5 stars, they get 3 stars. They get 4 stars. Some of those guys develop a little faster. Some of those guys get more playing time. And so, just because there's playing, there's a lot of guys who, come in and don't get the playing time. I think this is kind of one of them. He's a big guy. He's 6'5". He's got a
350.
lot of athletic. Yeah, 6'5", 350. He's a big boy. He doesn't look 350 either.
He does not look
There's
350. I was
there's a lot of
thinking that.
there's a lot of there's a lot of upside there. We need another tackle. Obviously, I like where we're at in the tackle position. And there you go. So
Yeah, Jum Summerall asked if how we would rate the offseason so far, 1 to 10.
I would say right now where it's incomplete, I'd say a 6.5. Like technically we know Calzada is probably here, but he's not committed. We have Hester. We still need another guy. I think we need another lineman. We need the running. Like if you say all the guys that are in the circle, I think it's probably a 9. As close as you can get. And the only reason I say not a 9 is because there was probably other quarterback options that they might have wanted. Maybe other wide receiver options. I think they hit a home run with a running back. I think they've hit home runs with the lines. I think they've hit home runs at linebacker. I think that there's a lot of home runs, but there's a couple places we don't know what they've hit yet. But if they all come in, I'd say it's probably an 8.5 to a 9. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but that's kind of my perspective on where this sits.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it's been nice seeing the coaches go out there and get some guys. I mean, really early on in the process, we've already kind of flipped the roster around on the offensive line. I know I saw Dylan Ray, and he's entered the portal from Kentucky. So I guess some of our linemen are seeing the writing on the wall. We got Wimberly playing right now for Western Kentucky. He's visiting within the next couple of days. So, hopefully we can land that guy. I just think Stoops and everyone on the staff, Wolford and Bolware, going out to Nebraska running back. All the staff members are going out and recruiting very strongly, and we're getting a lot of really good talent coming in for visits. We probably won't land everybody, but it's just nice seeing that we're a part of the mix, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think 7.5. I'm gonna take a point off for left tackle, a point off for edge, and then a half point for we could probably use another secondary piece, like elite second. Like we could use the guy in the secondary, slash I'm not totally convinced on JJ Hester just yet, but I wasn't convinced on a couple people that we had until I watched them. So
Look, Wallace Unamba today, right? I mean, kind of like we thought maybe it'd be a depth piece. I don't think we looked into him too much. And then all of a sudden, once he commits and you start looking into him, you're like, oh my God, this guy actually, he's never allowed a sack in his college career, right? I know some people were like, well, this or that. And listen, if you don't give up a sack, you got to feel like there's somewhat of a good player in there. Whether that translates to the next level, you don't know. But I think if you're going to take a risk on somebody, that's a low risk, high reward move. I think his position probably, if he wants to get to the next level, is guard. There's not a lot of 6'4" tackles out there. The fact that he's a 6'4" tackle, he's not giving up a sack, is really kind of
he's
amazing.
a little stiff too in space, which is I was expecting him to not be stiff, having not given up a stack, and then he was kind of, he's a big heavy boy. Like
Blue
he's
World
it's
Order says, do you think we will have any more staff additions? I'm not sure if there's any openings right now, but I would like to see some of Stoop's former players coming in on the staff to help rebuild the culture, specifically with skill players. That's actually a really good point. I don't know if we have any staff openings. I don't think we do.
I was gonna take his question and say, what do you all think about the fact that none of the assistants got replaced, like by us, outside of DeKel? Which, by the way, did y'all see? Never mind. I'll ask that question in a second. Go ahead.
I,
I got excited.
Am I surprised? Sorry. Am I surprised? A little. I mean, look, I think if people look at something just from the 1,000-foot angle, would say line, right? O-line, but Wolford's not going anywhere, and he's done a lot of really good positive recruiting. Obviously, the line was there, but he came in late. Yenser really didn't leave the cupboard, very full from that perspective. Other than that, I mean, who would you talk? I mean, look, I don't think it was a defensive problem. I don't think it was the defensive problem. I mean, we could talk about the offense, but there's a lot of things about the offense that could have contributed to everything. Maybe we missed a little bit on Brock. Maybe Brock, was also running for his life a lot. So there's that. And that listen, when you're getting hit 1,700 times a game, that can get with you too. So,
Yeah,
but anyway,
I'm pretty shocked that they didn't get rid of anybody, especially on the defensive side, to be honest, because they've talked about continuity so much on the offensive side, and they have had none at really any position. So and like we saw, there was a problem with the players on the team. They did not fit. The culture did not fit. They cleared house on offense and brought in a bunch of new guys, as we've seen. On
defense
defense,
hasn't been
though,
too big of a problem though over the
yeah, but
last
there
few
was
years.
something wrong. There was something wrong this year. They quit
Yeah, it
so
was the
hard,
fact they were
and it
sat
was
on the field for
that
100
wasn't
plays a
tired
game.
though. They weren't tired. They quit at the
Well,
end of
maybe
the
the
game.
Louisville game, but I mean, up
They quit
until
before that.
then, I don't think that there was a lot of quit in the team. I mean, even if you watch Texas, they fought that whole game except until
Well,
excuse me,
if you didn't
until
quit
that
and you
last
gave up,
drive.
if you didn't quit and you gave up career highs in rushing 4 or 5 games, then you probably need to switch the players too. You got to change something. I thought they would change something for sure, culture wise, on defense, and maybe they did with some of the exits that happened, but I don't know. Obviously, they know better than I do. So, but they've said they're going to change all the behind the scenes stuff. They're flipping up the quality control and the special assistants and stuff like that. So stuff that I won't notice.
Reed Shepard PT said, I'm throwing a party on a yacht if we get Kendrick Law. He's got Wandale like agility. I don't disagree with you there. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, who is the guy Vince said was like Wandale that we just brought in?
Montaven Quisenberry.
Quisenberry. Keep an eye on him. I think he's gonna play.
He just won Mr. Kentucky football.
He did. Also Bryson says, I want Bowden coaching and Lex. That would actually be kind of cool. Bryson Ritchie said, sorry if I'm late. Any commitments today? Yes. Wallace Unamba has committed today, and then Jeff Drummond had said that. He said, I got sent the screenshot, but had said that had posted that he is hearing that JJ Hester may have committed as well. But I don't know. I don't know any of that. But Jeff Drummond's one of the best out there, so I'm not going to question if he's hearing it. It's probably legit. I think we were just tired of replacing coaches every single year instead of just riding it out to see if we can get a clean slate and scheme guys and know what we were getting into. That's not a bad point. Look, at the end of the day, too, right? Like if you're going into a year where it could be a must-win year, I mean, maybe not. I don't know. I think Rando's back. There we go. Throw him in. There we go.
Am I
You know,
messing up your funk sway from the car, or we look all right?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
I think it is smart to run it back and have that continuity, right? Like, because here's the other thing, and this is something I didn't think about, but from a culture standpoint, right? Like if you're trying to build culture back and look at the end of the day, the culture, the hardworking, stuff, that this team had, that not stuff, hardworking, grind it mentality this team had in the 2017 18 and kind of moving forward, that was cultural. Bring it in, recruit and develop, right? When you're replacing this in a portal era, what's the only way to do that? I think the easiest way to do that is continuity of the coaches, because then the coaches are the culture, right? Like you've got guys on the defensive side. Brad White's been a top 10, 15 defensive coordinator for a while. I think you have that continuity there. But on the offensive side, I think a lot of people were clamoring for Bush's head. But it probably is, in hindsight, not a bad idea. Look, I mean, he didn't pick all the guys. He came in late, instituted a system a little bit later. I don't know if we ever fully grasped it. So you got to kind of see it, I think, in another way, or in another season. And so I don't dislike it. I mean,
Yeah, for sure. I'd say culture-wise,
I was one of those guys calling for, hey, OC's got to, like, he was the problem, and I will happily do the whole apologize to Bush Hannon song and dance if he comes out and shows us wrong this year. But I did make the same argument for Brad White when it was like the reason why defense was so good was because there was continuity on the coaching staff. They knew their system. A lot of those players returned, that sort of thing. So, yeah, I can see that argument saying, hey, if he's getting the right players, there's some people who have come back. It's his system, new mindset, and maybe it works. We'll see.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm glad they kind of stuck with Bush. I know I was kind of one of those like, hey, let's get rid of him. But we've had every year a different offensive coordinator for the last 5 years. It'd be nice to at least have the same guy for 2 years in a row. So I know Liam, then he left, then came back, but it still was separated out. It's not fair to the offensive scheme to have to keep figuring out different things on the playbook with 5 different offensive coordinators. I mean, that's crazy. So hopefully Bush now has his guys he's getting, and hopefully Calzada works out. I'm laughing at some of these freaking comments, cracking me up. Especially the Georgia one about Rando. That's pretty funny.
Someone was asking Rando if you're hitting at a Georgia commitment, driving a little distracted.
That's pretty funny. It's not funny. Talking about that,
it's not funny. It's not funny.
It's not funny. But yeah.
To me, though, offensively, they said they wanted to fix the culture, and I know I disagreed with you all that I thought it was player more than Bush, and I'm very much hoping I don't have to put the apology video out, the apology tweet. But but they went and got Wolfschlager, who is a MAC guy. They went and got Unamba, who is a JUCO and then Mountain West guy. They went and got Braun, who is married, and both of his parents played their college careers at Army, West Point. Like, they went and got dudes that are grown adults, experienced, have lives, like, have been through it all trying to get to this point. That's something that I feel like they lacked. People say the dog thing, and I always tend to think that talent supersedes dog. But that's only to an extent, and we weren't getting talented enough to supersede dog.
Did you?
Now, obviously,
did you see
the best
quick,
have
did you guys
talented
see?
dogs.
Did you guys see that the FIU wide receiver committed to Georgia? The guy that had like 9 million offers.
Yeah,
that just goes to show you, right? Like, I think that's to your point when you're talking about dogs and everything. That guy went to FIU and had 50 Division I, like 50, like big offers. Talent, it doesn't matter where they play now at this point, right? In the portal era, they're gonna find talent, and I think it's a difference because before, right, all this happened, you had to like sit out, right? You couldn't necessarily transfer within your conference. There's all these other rules, right? And now you're seeing this, you're seeing more of this movement. I think it's just an adjustment the fans have to make, that it doesn't like, look, if you come from Alabama, obviously your chances probably are a little bit higher of being good, but we've seen guys that come from like Florida, right? Like Mincy wasn't very good. And we've seen him come and not work. So I think that that's something that's really positive from that perspective. And look, you know, someone said it in the chat, I would much rather have a bunch of guys that, you know, kind of like what Mark Pope's doing, and get a bunch of guys that are dogs that have a lot to prove, that are going to work hard, and look and never quit. And if that happens, good things are going to happen. Like Vandy was not the most talented team on the field. They probably were more talented than all the teams they beat. Well, some of them they were. But they played hard and they never gave up, and they had a dog as a leader. And look, that can win you games. That's worth something. And I you know, I don't personally, I don't dislike that. And I like the people that are seeing this in a different way, saying, hey, we've gone down the road of a 5-star transfer or a number one this and stuff, and it didn't work. You know, maybe like, let's give a bunch of these guys that maybe are a little bit more maligned, but have talent, that have played a lot of football. Let's get them in here and see if we can build a really good team. And I like that. I really like that approach.
Yeah, and I think some of it too is there another choice that we have, right? You have to do a self-assessment. Go, we have to go in some of these quote unquote lower level schools. Some of these slept on guys, some of these dog mentality guys that will come in and be successful that way, because in the SEC, where there's a bunch of teams with a ton of NIL money and a ton of clout and legacy, you know, Georgia sells itself. Texas, even though they haven't done much recently, they came to the SEC and they did something this year. The brand sells itself. It's kind of like what they preach about Kentucky basketball. Like, you know, we're not at that level in the SEC for football, if we're being honest. So let's do
Yeah.
a mentality that Stoops wants to bring and be successful that way. You know.
There you go. We also got the chat up so people can see the questions up as well. No, I agree. I think that's well said. Roland posted something interesting. Let me read it. I retweeted it. Give me 2 seconds.
I mean, yeah, we got a comment about DJ Miller.
So Roland up. Whoa.
He could play. He could be that X, especially Hester has injury problems. So if Hester were to go down, DJ would definitely be an option as far as big X receivers. Honestly, not dissimilar prospects now that I think about it.
Yeah, Bryson was talking about like and whatnot, and he did have a good system. There were a lot of plays left out there, whether it was these or it was drop balls. But my God, figure out the red zone, figure out the goal line. I mean, I don't know who else to put that on. I mean, you can't be on the 1 yard line 6 different times and get a whole 0 points. So back on that, yeah, there was a lot of goodness to his offense, but inside the 20s, got to figure it out.
Well, also, I think some of that, I think some of the goal line, right, like had to do with the fact that our run blocking was not phenomenal and down, and necessarily knew that we were running.
Yeah, I think
that's going to get
I thought
improved.
our run blocking was good, but there was no threat of the pass. So why even
Correct.
fucking? Sorry, I can't wait to say.
Oh, you're good.
Bad. Okay.
No, it doesn't matter.
Why even sell out on it?
Well, and then
so
also getting
like,
a 6'2", 225-pound back might not hurt either.
Yeah.
I think that's the plan.
Our goal line.
Let Dowdle run through people's face.
Might change if our starting running back is actually trading him like we thought it was going to be. You know.
Yeah.
Trainham was always an interesting thing. They told us immediately that Trainham didn't work when they tried to get running backs all for the rest of the offseason. And it obviously didn't work now that he's transferring again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at him for getting another running back, even if they got Dowdle, just for bodies, because that'd be 5 Dowdle.
They've got 4 right now, right?
Yeah, Dowdle would be 5. I mean, they lost 3 last year in like a game.
Yeah, look, I mean, yeah, I think that I don't know if they will though. I don't know if they
They
will.
probably won't.
I
They'll
think
probably use
Well,
Kissamary
you
as
can get
a
a running back that also
50-50.
does special teams things and stuff like that. So that's how they'll do it. Is they'll get a fifth guy that can do other things like
kick returns or something.
kickoff returns, things like that. Yeah,
A Demisimo Carmbe that doesn't have to be a starter.
Yeah, there's, I think that's probably not necessarily far off. I think in a pinch, there's a couple guys who we got in that are technically wide receivers that could probably run the ball if we had to have it, right? Like if we
Yeah.
needed a body. In the
Yeah.
wide receiver, I mean, look, in the running back room, there's two guys that you can't really replace. You can't really replace Wilcox, and you can't really replace, and we're assuming that Dowdell ends up coming here. But if that's the case, those are the two guys that would be hard to replace.
To Bryson's point, I meant under those guys, just like a body. Just add that
not
another player.
not a starter. Yeah, this is
But
a guy that comes just wants the opportunity. Really, I mean, he just could be a lower D1. He knows his place in special teams and knows maybe next year he might get a couple more carries. So
some fast guy at a small school that'll come play for free.
yeah, like Darren Sproles, basically. Go find a Darren Sproles.
Yeah. No, John Silver said Patterson looked all right in spurts. He does. Look, the biggest thing I think with Patterson and Wilcox is is playbook. I think that was the biggest thing that was holding them back throughout most of the year was playbook. It wasn't, obviously Patterson got hurt, but I mean, if you look at Patterson, Wilcox, and a Dowdell, I mean, I think there's a lot of talent there. I mean, I'm more confident about my running back room going into this season, knowing that we've got more offensive tackles and stuff coming. I like it.
Patterson, I think he set the Florida record for rushing yards in a season.
Yeah, Patterson was a guy down in Florida. Wilcox is phenomenal. You can't replace his elusiveness, his can do on a football field. Two hands on the football, young man. That's all I ask you to do, please.
He does run with it a little loosey-goosey sometimes.
3 fumbles and 97 snaps, I think.
Yeah, but it didn't happen till later, right? Like we talked about this, right, on some of the live shows.
He didn't have a lot of snaps. So he didn't have a lot of snaps. Once it got identified as being a problem, defenses attacked it. Right, that's where you got to fix.
Yeah, he was loosey. He ran with much of reckless abandon. But didn't Benny have some problems with that, or no? C-Rod had some fumble problems early. Yeah. He ran he ran really mean.
Tim Dowdell is not as good as Hardy because nobody is as good as Hardy.
They're different.
Nobody's better than Hardy. But yeah, Dowdell is very, very good. Like he can be the starting running back on a very good team.
Here's the thing about
Hardy, I have a man crush on Hardy. I can't lie to you. He's so awesome.
Here's the thing about Hardy though. Like if you basically did the production out, Wilcox would have had 200 more yards and like 3 more touchdowns.
That's great. UL Monroe was even worse than us at throwing the football.
I didn't like seeing Hardy go to Missouri. I know that.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been nice if he didn't go in the SEC.
Yeah. I don't want to play that guy.
Gosh, no, I don't either.
Man.
It's
been a good week. I mean, we got good players.
So we're on running backs. I've always thought this Stoop system, quote unquote Stoop system, was better when he had that a bell cow 3 down back, right? Your Snell was that way, C-Rod was that way, Ray Davis was definitely that way. The offense just seemed to flow better. Do you think that's the Dowdle role, or do you think a running back by committee thing can work in this thing and have the thunder and lightning approach?
Committee can certainly work. I mean, there are running back committees. I mean, the Chiefs have run running back committee for
Georgia.
I'm talking about our team Stoop system, where and if it is going to work, then you have to. I don't know. I think it's two.
Our best teams had Benny Snell and Boom Williams, or Benny Snell and AJ Rose, or AJ Rose and C-Rod, right? Now, look, it still was pretty good when it was just C-Rod. Who was behind it? Was it AJ Rose here his senior year too?
No, AJ.
Who was the?
They were in the same class, but I thought AJ left because C-Rod was the year that C-Rod got suspended. And they brought in Demi, right?
No, I don't think so. I'd have to go back and look. But we've always done our. We've always had
22.
really, 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 really good teams when we've had two guys that
Ramon
can.
Jefferson was one of them.
Yeah, but he only played for a year for like 3 games, and then he played last year more. But then the year before, I forgot who it was. I'd have to go look.
See him.
JoJo Kemp.
No, JoJo Kemp's way, 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 way long ago.
Yeah, it was long ago.
I think that it's look. We've always been good when we have a good O-line and we have a 1-2 punch at running back, and we could have a 1-2-3 punch at running back. Look at like Georgia does it. Georgia will play 3 running backs during the season. Now maybe at the end, like they have a go-to guy, but Georgia will grind you down, right? That
Cavassier
Juton
Smoke.
McClain. There you go. Juton McClain.
Cavassier Smoke.
Cavassier Smoke. That's
who I
another
was
one.
looking
Yep.
for.
Yep. There you go. Bryson said, I think I like him just as much, honestly, just because him and Wilcox have kind of the same run style. I agree. The good thing is Dowdell and Wilcox have 2 different run styles, so they can complement each other. Dowdell can run down their throat, and Wilcox can burn them on the outside or take it up the middle. Not to say Dowdell can't. I agree with that.
I think people are gonna be surprised by Dowdell's burst in like the short yard. Like he doesn't have speed, but the acceleration is once he hits the hole, he gets it going.
Like
for about
C-Rod,
10 yards.
slow like
he
a
as
tank.
pass catcher?
7 catches for 21 yards in the season. Not a ton of
7 for
reps.
21. So not great.
Yeah.
Or not a lot of
Not
opportunity,
really.
I guess.
Someone in that 3 back is going to have to emerge as like the pass catching back, whether that's Wilcox, or Patterson or him. So, John said, Boom, Williams, and JoJo used to feed families. I mean, Boom used to do some insane stuff. I really listen. If Boom, I'm telling you right now, if Boom doesn't go to the draft and comes back for a senior year, I think Kentucky wins a lot more games. We need to have the ability to run the ball like when it was needed, but I don't think we need to go back to making that the offensive focus. I don't know, man. It's hard to argue the fact that we were really good when we were a physical run-based team. I mean, we weren't necessarily scoring 50 a game, but we were winning a lot more than we did last year. Juton McClain played when C-Rod was suspended. Yeah, he did. He did all right. He was a 4-star recruit too, wasn't he? Or am I crazy thinking that?
Yeah, high 3, low 4, depending on where you look. One of those Ohio kids. He was swaggy though. He had good, good accessories, good drip, all the things. I just said drip. I feel really weird. That's not. I don't know if I've ever used that word in that context before.
Drip.
Yeah. I don't think I ever have.
I just tweeted about some drippity drip. I got all that new white bluegrass state line coat hat.
Boy, that hat is filthy.
It is, and I'm gonna be looking clean in my all white there in February when I come for the Arkansas game. Unless Pope decides to pull out the all blacks for that, then I gotta wear the all black uni just to match the team.
Yeah, I agree.
To. Well,
what else we got? Anything, boys, or are we kind of wrapping up?
I think we've talked about everybody I've heard of.
Yeah, and I can get back to 2 hands on the wheel like a good human.
There you go. All right, guys.
Yeah. Hey, notice those eyes never faltered.
Jake said I loved watching Benny Snell absolutely destroy Mississippi State the game. That was it was in the rain. I remember sitting at the top of the upper deck under like the overhang of the press box, and it was just beautiful.
Good stuff. Miss you, Benny.
Man. Been a good show.
Yeah. If anybody here listening, if y'all want to drop a follow or something, if y'all enjoyed the show, new here, that would be appreciated.
At Bleed B Network at Bleed B Network on Twitter.
Yeah.
Positive. There's been some negative today. We haven't talked about it, but it's fine.
Nah, we're good. It was
positive.
Positive vibes only.
Positive. All right.
Blue. Peace.
Go
Yes,
Cats.
sir.